Opening in 2016, Lightning Rod made waves with its revolutionary concept as the first ever launching wooden roller coaster. With a max speed of 73 miles per hour, Lightning Rod is the fastest wooden roller coaster on the planet. Unfortunately, with every breakthrough, there are setbacks. Lightning Rod had a really rocky start during its first few years of operation. The ride opened 2 months late, only to be closed more times than it was opened through that first season. Many coaster enthusiasts, including myself, attempted to ride this attraction during its opening year, but were unsuccessful. The LSM technology proved to be problematic, which resulted in some adjustments to the launch, acceleration, and train. Well, just a few short weeks ago, I finally took my first ride on Lightning Rod, and I'm excited to share my personal thoughts of this unique RMC creation. Presentation. Located in Jukebox Junction, Lightning Rod is themed to a spruced-up 1950s era hot rod. The station and queue area are themed to a garage shop and are very well done. The Zero car on each train was recently modified to improve reliability, which unfortunately resulted in lesser-themed Zero car. However, the trains still look great and work well with the overall aesthetic. The majority of the coaster track is located on the opposite side of the mountain on which the station rests, which means most of the ride isn't visible from inside the park. The journey out into the woods seems to be a recurring theme with the coasters at Dollywood, but a well-executed one. I wasn't able to snag a night ride simply because the park wasn't open that late while I was there, but I can only imagine how much more fun this coaster would be flying through the forest in the evening. Overall, Dollywood has done a terrific job with this coaster's presentation, earning a perfect 10 rating. Ride intensity. Out of the 250 roller coasters that I've been on, Lightning Rod ranks as one of the most intense coaster experiences out there. Starting off with the inclined launch, Lightning Rod wastes no time getting you into the action. The ride actually gets more intense the longer it goes on, which is a very unusual aspect because most coasters start off to sputter out near the end, but not so for Lightning Rod. The most intense part of the ride is the end, but I'm getting ahead of myself. After the launch, Lightning Rod performs a small bunny hill before plummeting down the main drop. Depending on where you are seated, these hills will deliver a small pop of air or stronger floater airtime in the back row. Next, the wave turn delivers some good floater airtime regardless of which row you are seated in. The falling element, which is an outer banked turn of sorts, is my favorite element of the ride. The snappy transitions entering and exiting this moment deliver great laterals mixed in with ejector airtime. Next up is another outer bank turn, but this one focuses more on strong ejector airtime instead of the laterals like the last element. After completing a quick airtime hill, Lightning Rod starts the most intense part of the ride, the quad down. Each pop of air is more intense than the last, making me question the integrity of the track we are currently riding on. Of course, the ride is safe and the track isn't going to break, but the amount of forces you are experiencing during this moment of the ride is unreal. I'm not sure exactly where Lightning Rod reaches its max speed, but it feels like it's obtained here at the bottom of the hill before the turnaround. As mentioned earlier, Lightning Rod is themed to a classic hot rod, and you, the rider, are taking it out for a spin. This quad down element makes me feel like I am an inexperienced car racer and I was just put behind the wheel of a overpowered hot rod. We are flying through the hills completely out of control, hoping we don't collide with anything. With all that speed and momentum, Lightning Racer flies into the turnaround that ends in the brake run, which brings the train to a painfully slow crawl back to the station. I believe this brake run is designed to be so slow, that way they can operate more efficiently with 2 trains. However, if they are only running 1 train, it takes forever to get the train off the brake run and into the station. Lightning Rod is a crazy, out-of-control roller coaster experience that rightfully earns a 10 rating in ride intensity. Fun factor. As you might expect, a roller coaster that features multiple moments of exciting ejector airtime would also be a very fun roller coaster. There is so much to love, from the launch to the airtime hill after airtime hill. The theme of this ride is airtime variety. Each element tries its own unique way of catapulting you out of your seat, be it side to side or up and down. So, unlike most RMCs where I would recommend riding in the back row, Lightning Rod is a front row coaster, actually maybe a couple rows back. This might sound unusual, but I believe the row that delivers the best airtime all around wasn't the front row or the back row, but was towards the middle. Sitting closer to the middle row allows you to get some airtime on that double drop after the launch, while the front row has basically no airtime on that first hill, and just some good floater on the second. The middle row seems to be more consistent throughout the whole ride. It's slightly smoother while delivering the same amount of airtime, maybe even more than if I would be riding in the front row. The back row, which has the best airtime on the first two airtime hills, the rest of the ride seems slightly lacking when compared to the front rows. Regardless of where you sit, Lightning Rod won't disappoint. There's technically not a bad seat on Lightning Rod, only ones I prefer. Fun factor gets a perfect 10 rating. Originality. Before taking my first ride, I was a little concerned that Lightning Rod would feel repetitive with all its airtime moments, but I can confidently say that each moment feels different than the last. Not only is this a first of its kind being a launched Woody, its layout is very original as well. I've said this already, but Lightning Rod gets even more crazy as you work your way through the layout. I can't think of any other roller coaster other than maybe Top Thrill Dragster, which is a launch and giant drop that features the most intense moments near the end of the ride. This roller coaster is paced perfectly, and I couldn't ask anything more out of its layout. I know some were wondering why this ride doesn't feature inversions, and that's because it doesn't need any. The variety of elements this coaster offers is enough to keep Lightning Rod fresh from beginning to end, earning itself another 10 rating. Ride smoothness. As much as I hate to say it, Lightning Rod will not earn a perfect 10 rating in all categories. You'd think that being built by Rocky Mountain Construction would ensure this coaster is butter smooth, but that's sadly not the case. There are bumps or potholes throughout the entire course. The roughest part of the ride is that quad down, but at the same time, it kind of enhances the experience. If it was butter smooth, that moment wouldn't be the same. Thankfully, I don't think the roughness detracts from the ride experience, but it was enough to give me a headache during one of my last rides of the day. I was planning on taking another spin, but once that headache set in, I knew I needed to take a break. Lightning Rod earns a 7.5 for ride smoothness. Okay, the final score comes to 9.5, which is a near perfect score. Lightning Rod is one of those roller coasters that every coaster enthusiast needs to check out. The speed, intensity, launch, crazy elements, and airtime all work together to create possibly the best wooden coaster ride on this earth. After a very rocky start, it seems Lightning Rod has finally found its footing and is operating pretty regularly, though it's not without some downtime here or there. My personal score is going to be a 10. Lightning Rod quickly made its way into my favorite coasters of all time, ranking up in my top 5. I can't say if it's my favorite or not, but it's sure a contender. Even though this coaster can get rather rough, it's still a world-class attraction that you need to check out. The ride's unique setup and location make this one crazy coaster that I hope other parks are willing to take a crack at. Kennywood, I'm looking at you now. Well, thank you for watching today's review. Let me know in the comments what you think of Lightning Rod. If you liked this video, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe. You wouldn't want to miss out on more great content coming your way by XscreamThrills.